Yo, welcome to Spectator Sporting. I'm Zach Roach, along with my partner, Mr. Ali Wally. We got a great show for you today. You know what time it is. It's coming up on fall. We are talking Chicago Bears preview this season. I got Coach Floyd to help us out with this. I got Boone here to help us out with this. It's Bears time. It's fall. The summer went so fast, and it's already August going to September. That means Bears season is upon us. A lot of new things. We drafted a quarterback. Matt Nagy is still a coach. And so it's a lot going on. But the biggest talk of right now is the QB situation. What are the Bears going to do at quarterback? Now, we know that Matt Nagy is officially named Andy Dalton, the quarterback. But I want to start with you, Coach, on this one. What is your thoughts on the Bears QB situation?
Well, first off, the Bears at number 11, we was all shocked, drafted Justin Fields out of Ohio State. Wonderful talent, one of the fastest QBs to ever be in the NFL Combine. Something different for the Bears.
Yeah.
Something different. First off, Andy Dalton was signed, I want to say $10 million a year.
Yep. And
they named him QB right away before the draft. Andy Dalton comes in with a lot of experience. Recently, the Chicago Bears passed him up. They went for Nick Foles last year. I have a huge problem with that because you bring in Andy Dalton and you could have had him last year.
Yep.
So what do? We got this young whippersnapper who's everybody excited to see. They named Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton, as he touched the field, he throw one bad play. We know the fans are going to be booing, ready for the Justin Fields project.
Yeah.
But as I said in our season-ending show, you can't put Justin Fields on. You can't put Justin Fields on the field until he's ready. Okay. And that's the coaching staff decision. And I don't care what the record is. I don't care if we're 5-0. I don't care if we're 0-5. When you as a coaching staff decides that he is ready to take over the realms of the offense, he must get the keys. We don't know. Is that going to be week 1? Is that going to be week 2? What we're seeing is Andy Dalton is going to start. But it looks like there's some packages that's going to be put in just for Justin Fields because of that talent. You just can't have that talent on the sideline with a clipboard. You have to be able to use that talent some type of way. So my thoughts about it, I think whenever Justin Fields is ready, I think you put him in. I don't care the record. The future starts when you make the decision that Justin Fields is ready. Is that September? Is that October, November? Or is that 2022? Whatever it is. But I say Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace, whoever it is, whenever that young man is ready. Now here's the question. Who decides if he's ready?
Right.
Who decides if he's ready? Right. I think with that talent, you put him in right away. Right now, Andy Dalton is the starter, but Justin Fields comes in and he wows you right away. He had some wild plays in the preseason, but he also had some struggles or whatever. Yeah. But we all know that Justin Fields' ceiling is 10 times higher than Andy Dalton's ceiling. Yeah. So thoughts about the QB situation. Andy Dalton should be able to pick up the offense right away. I don't expect Justin Fields to beat out an 11-year veteran. Maybe he has way more talent, but I don't expect Justin Fields to beat out an 11-year veteran right away. But once he starts picking up the nuances of an offense, once he starts picking up how to get the team out and everything, I think you go with him. His talent is there already. Yeah. You can't hold that talent back. But there's a lot more to go with being an NFL quarterback. Why I did expect Andy Dalton to beat him out, not just talent-wise. Yeah. So, but as I said, you can't hold that talent back. Whenever he's ready, you give him the keys.
Absolutely. Andy Dalton last year came in and replaced Dak last year. Threw 14 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, but the Dallas was terrible last year. Boom, talk to me. What's your thoughts on this Bears quarterback situation? There's a lot going on right now with this quarterback situation.
Well, you know what? Like Nagy like to say, the quarterback room for the 2021 season is, in my opinion, pretty good. You know, I really like it. So I'll start off, I'm working my way from the bottom to the top. Okay, Nick Foles, a former, NFL Super Bowl MVP. The boy can do it. in the right circumstances. Now, he need a perfect line in front of him. He need the good receivers getting open, and he can, read defense and make the plays. So as your third string quarterback, I mean, Nick Foles is good. That's like a break the class in the case of emergency. He's really not going to play, but at third string, I like him. And now with Andy Dalton, I like Andy Dalton, but I'm scared of Andy Dalton because, he was great in Cincinnati back in his heyday. Great? He was, okay, yeah, that's the wrong word. That's the wrong word. He was solid. He made some playoffs. I'm not knocking him. He was super solid. He was super solid. Yeah. He threw the ball to A.J. Green. He thought this number one receiver. Remind me of, Robinson. Just throw the ball to Robinson. Just, keep it simple. So his career stats, he has a 87.5 quarterback rating. All right, 218 touchdowns, 126 interceptions. Not bad. And a completion percentage of 62.2 for his career, which is not bad. You know what I mean? Not bad. Now, you can throw away his 2020 season with Dallas, but in 2019, his completion percentage was 59.3. He had 3,449 yards. He had 16 touchdowns and 14 interceptions with a quarterback rating of 78. And that kind of sucks in 2019. Yeah. Now, but remember, A.J. Green was gone. He was hurt that whole season. Yep. And he was hurt also in 2018. I'm talking about A.J. Green was hurt. But he had 61.9% completion percentage, 2,566 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And that's when A.J. Green got hurt, I think the third week in 2018. And for me, his best season was 2015. Now we're going back a little while, all right? But in 2015, he had a quarterback completion percentage of 66.1, all right, which is high for his career. He had 3,250 yards, all right? He had 25 touchdowns versus 7 interceptions, and his quarterback rating was 106.3 in 2015. So he can do it. Now that was, that was 6 years ago, right? So, but he can do it in the right circumstances. So I feel good about Andy Dalton. And then, like Floyd said, Justin Fields, his ceiling is high. He can do it with his legs. He can do it with his arms. He can do it from the pocket. He can roll out. He's gonna be all right. So I'm good on the quarterback room, just on paper. But I like I said, Andy Dalton scared me because it's been a while. And Nick Foles, he need a perfect situation. And Justin Fields a rookie, so it's up and down. But I'm good with it.
Okay, they do have some competent quarterbacks. There's no question. They both, Nick Foles and Andy Dalton, have experienced success in the NFL. They have had seasons where they were successful quarterbacks. So that is very fair. Adi, talk to me. What's going on with this Bears quarterback? We've been looking for a quarterback for 740 years. But let's get it. What's going to happen with this quarterback situation with the Bears?
Well, I'm looking at it. Well, out of the 5 coaches this year that have rookie quarterbacks in the first round, rookie quarterbacks, Matt Nagy has the shortest leash. Okay, no one's kicking Bill Belichick out of New England if Mac Jones doesn't play well. In Jacksonville, the Urban Meyer and they love the Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence relationship. They're gonna give them a few years to get things together. Kyle Shanahan is not on the hot seat in San Francisco with Trey Lance. They're going to give him some time to develop him. And the New York Jets, they just signed Robert Saleh from San Francisco, along with his offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur, to work with the number 2 overall pick, Zach Wilson. None of those guys are on the hot seat. Now, Matt Nagy, his contract expires after the 2022 season. And Nagy's not going to, as we know, he's not going to throw Justin Fields out there week 1 against the number 1 defense in the NFL, the Los Angeles Rams, that made Russell Wilson look real bad in the playoffs last year. Sacked him 5 times, got a pick 6, annihilated that offense, that Seattle Seahawks offense. Now the Bears, they signed Jason Peters, right, from the Philadelphia Eagles. Yep. He's 39 years old. He missed 8 games last year due to a toe injury. So that's our left tackle. We don't know what he got left in the tank. Right. And we saw what happened to the best quarterback in the universe in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, when he had a mediocre, below average offensive line in the Super Bowl, getting hit all the time, getting sacked all the time, couldn't do a damn thing. Yeah. It doesn't matter how good Justin Fields is. It doesn't matter how good Patrick Mahomes is. It doesn't matter how good Joe Burrow is. We saw what happened to him when he had a below-average offensive line last year. Got hit by the Redskins, tore the ACL, the MCL, out for the season. Yep. And I don't think it's a big deal if Justin Fields sits out the first 4 to 8 games of the year. That's not a big deal to me. Look at Brett Favre, Lamar Jackson, Kurt Warner, Patrick Mahomes. None of those guys started right away to begin their career, and look how their careers ended up. That's not a big deal to me. I say go ahead and let Andy Dalton be our crash test dummy. Let him find out if Jason Peters needs to retire right now. Let him find out if Jermaine Ifedi is okay. Let him find out if it was a horrible decision to cut Charles Leno Jr., who was their starting left tackle for the last 6 years. Then you draft Tevin Jenkins in the second round. You trade up for him. He had a back. Now he needs back surgery. Yep. You got to sign Jason Peters, 39 years old, to be your left tackle. Okay, so
Chris Williams all over again.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know if Tevin Jenkins is going to be all right. I hope he's going to be all right, but I can't think about him too hard because he just had back surgery, okay? Yeah. And we saw what happened to Justin Fields against the Buffalo Bills. That big hit he took when he got clocked, okay? So
that was on Justin Fields, though.
But
that was on Fields.
What's the other guy? Colombo, right?
Mark Colombo.
Mark Colombo.
Yeah,
come on, we can't get it over. I mean, keep going, though.
Yeah, Gabe Creaney. So, so that's the thing. We do have Larry Borum, 5th round pick from Missouri. We'll see what he can do. But that's what I'm saying. My point is, let the Red Rifle go out there and see if this offensive line is good enough, and then see if we can get a running game going. And if so, then you can throw Justin Fields in there.
Yeah, you brought up a point that I want to say. You brought up the point about Matt Nagy's job is on the line. Are we sure that him playing Andy Dalton is going to keep his job safe? Because listen, Andy Dalton, once again, he is a solid quarterback. He's had some solid seasons. But in today's NFL, he's not mobile. He's very stationary. And with that offensive line, he can't get away. You know who can get away? Justin Fields. He can get away. He can make plays that's unconventional. He can make plays where things break down, he can go run 7-8 yards and get those first downs. Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, they can't. I think don't get me wrong, I'm with you, but I think the experience thing, but I think that their lack of mobility with the lack of left tackle or right tackle will be more of an issue than playing Justin Fields with that line. Because Justin Fields, he will, even though he might get hit, he can run away, he can elude people, you can roll him out, you can move him in the pocket. And I also think the success of the quarterback is going to be how the game plan coming in every week is too. Are they going to make him a drop back quarterback? Are we going to feature the run with David Montgomery? What are we going to find the weakness and matchups and take over? So I think that is more than anything, whoever's playing quarterback, how are we going to use that quarterback? To me, is the biggest issue that right now that the Bears are facing.
You brought up the 5 teams that drafted first-round quarterbacks. Right. And the Bears are in a unique situation, whereas those other 4 teams are not in a situation. You look at the Jaguars and the Jets, they know they're not winning this year, so they could throw out those rookie quarterbacks. You look at San Francisco, who's on the same page as the Bears, trying to see, do we go with this veteran or do we go with, but the San Francisco is prepared to win right now. They're prepared to win right now. Right. And that other team is the New England Patriots, who's closer to the Bears, or they have to make a decision. Are we trying to win now or are we trying to develop this guy? And so the Bears have to be honest with themselves. Are we closer to San Francisco? Or are we closer to the New York Jets? Right. So that's a decision that they have to make.
That's it.
And
they closer to the Jets.
They closer to the Jets.
Closer to the Jets? You think they're closer to the Jets?
I think so. I think they're closer to the Jets.
New England's not winning nothing, and the Bears is not winning.
And when you say closer to the Jets, I'm looking at the division. I mean, is Minnesota automatically locked for the
I wouldn't say they're automatically not locked. I don't think it's I think y'all a little more.
So
I wouldn't say the Vikings is locked.
Should the Bears punt the year?
I wouldn't do that. I
wouldn't punt the year.
The NFC North is not getting a wild card. That's what I'm trying to say.
They could.
I don't think so.
We'll get to that later in the show.
We'll get to that later. They could. So
we know who won the division.
Well, we Detroit Lions. We know Detroit.
I think we all agree on that.
Detroit, they have the best quarterback in the division. Let's be real. No, so I mean this is the biggest decision of Matt Nagy life right now, and Ryan Pace. Because remember, they just failed with a quarterback at number 2 pick. They just failed Big time. I wouldn't call it a complete failure because they went to the playoffs 2 years. Say what you want about Mr. Trubisky, but he helped the Bears get to the playoffs 2 out of 3 years.
He has a winning record.
And he has a winning record.
Yes.
So Mitch ain't as bad as people make him out to be.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we talked about the end of the season show last year. We knew that the Bears was gonna get rid of Mitch and keep Nagy.
I told the Bears not to do it. I said don't.
We knew that was
let
gonna
go of
happen.
Mitch.
I called it.
Yeah, so now we're really Nagy is on the hot seat, and he gonna really have to show that he really knows how to coach
At the end
offense.
of the year, I heard some stuff about their contract. What did anybody find out?
I know Matt Nagy's contract is over at the end of 2022. The Ryan Pace contract is like hush hush.
It's under, we don't know.
I know
We
people
gotta
are trying to find out.
Yeah, they definitely have been trying to find out from management what is the contract. Is he on the hot seat?
Yeah.
Is he not on the hot seat? I don't know if they're relating them two together. Roach and Adi likes to relate them two together.
Yeah.
Matt Nagy did not draft. He wasn't there when they drafted Mitch.
But he took the job. He took the job when you come in and coach Mitch. He took the job. That was his
Very
job.
highly of him before.
Yeah,
he did.
Yes,
You
I
know,
agree. He spoke very highly of him before.
That's why he got the job. They brought him here to coach Mitch Trubisky.
He did it. He did them bogus. And he did them bogus.
He did them bogus. So
He did Mitch bogus. He could have worked with Mitch.
yeah.
He could have changed his offensive scheme and did the Mitch Trubisky offensive scheme, which is similar to what they're doing in Buffalo. Run the ball, play action, roll out, short passes, a little elusive, crossing the wide receivers.
Well, Bill Lazor was doing that when he got his little. I know who they was playing wasn't the same teams that Nick Foles was playing. I admit that. But when Bill Lazor took over offensive coordinator, they was doing that. That's when they went on their little streak to get into the playoffs.
It's a lot of quarterbacks like Mitch. Everybody's not throw the ball deep, then shut down. Matt Nagy, not to forget about the middle of the field. Either you look for the deep, it's not open, and shut it down. And that's Matt Nagy game. And no run game, no in the middle of the field plays. He don't like none of that. And that's not Mitch's game. So Matt Nagy didn't play with the players he had on his roster.
He didn't play their strengths.
So that was kind of bogus of Nagy, not playing with your roster. You know what I mean? You like playing chess, you got a knight and a rook, but you want to make moves with a queen. Like, come on, man, what you doing? So I don't know. I don't like Nagy for that, but we'll see.
Now, we just talked about the quarterback situation. I mean, because it's a concern. It's a good thing and it's a concern as a quarterback. But the Bears have other issues, Boom. So tell me about some other issues that the Bears need to be concerned with.
Okay, so I went into the season concerned with the Bears' defense more than the offense. I was concerned specifically with the outside linebackers and the pass rush. You know, I was just thrown away by the pass rush, last year. With your boy Robert Quinn, he only had
Your boy, you gotta be my boy.
Yeah. Robert Quinn, he only had 20 tackles last season and only 2 sacks, and I think both of them was in one game. All right, and
That's crazy.
Khalil Mack, he had a good year statistically, but for me, he just seemed too quiet for too long. Now, granted, he had 50 tackles, he had 9 sacks, he had 1 interception last year, but he seemed kind of quiet on the field compared to his 2018 season with the Bears when he first got in. He had 47 tackles, 12.5 sacks, and 1 interception, but it was loud. It was he was game-changing moments. So I felt like they needed some help with the edge rush. This is me going into the season. So then you look at their backups. You had Travis Gibson, you had James Vulture, you had Charles Snowden, you know what I'm saying? You have Jeremiah Atashi. And then those names don't do nothing for me either. So I was like, oh my God, I can't even say some of these guys' names. So I'm like, okay, as putting pressure on the quarterback, a big part of defense, getting 3 and outs, I was like, okay, the Bears need help there. And then the other second part, the secondary. We lost my boy, Kyle Fuller, over some money, some Andy Dalton money.
Kyle Fuller had a good Bears career.
He had a great career, and I was with him his whole from the beginning.
He was on it.
When he got drafted from Virginia Tech, my boy Floyd.
I was not.
He was not, and I had to let you know what was up. So shout out to Sean's, my boy Kyle Fuller.
Yeah.
So he's gone. We got a rookie that I like as well. With Johnson, he's going into his second year. Jalen Johnson, and then I was like, okay, Eddie Jackson. What's going on with Eddie Jackson? He felt like he was kind of quiet out there to me. Remember, his second year in 2018, he had 51 tackles and he had 6 interceptions. All right, that's something that I thought I could get used to, but I think that's just not going to be his career. You know what I mean? His rookie year, he had 71 tackles and 2 interceptions. Okay, in 2019, he had 60 tackles and 2 interceptions. And then last year, he had 82 tackles, his career high in tackles. So, 6 interceptions going into this year. I'm concerned with the secondary. So I'm like, okay, I got Eddie Jackson. Is he going to step up and get 6? He might not get 6, but give me 3. You know what I mean? So between Jalen Johnson, Eddie Jackson, they got to hold down the secondary. My boy Khalil Mack, he's gonna do a good job at outside linebacker. Robert Quinn, Gibson. Forget Robert Quinn. Is Gibson gonna step up and take his job? You know what I'm saying? Is Jeremiah Atachi gonna take his job? Somebody got to take Quinn's job. I'm not feeling Quinn. So that was my concerns going to the season, but. Now, with all the injuries on the offensive line, I'm totally concerned with the offensive line. I don't think that Justin Fields should be out there on the field getting experience without a good offensive line in front of them. Yeah. So, like Adi said in the past segment, let Andy Dalton be our crash dummy. Yep. Because the offensive line is a bunch of nobodies too. I mean, with the offensive line, we got Jeremiah Fafetti.
Jermaine Fafetti. He's our starting right tackle.
He's our starting right tackle. We got Larry Grom, who is hurt right now. You got Tyron Whitney. You got Tavon Jenkins, who was hurt. Yep. We talking about tackles. We got Jason Peters, Elijah Wilkerson, and we got somebody else who.
Now, Elijah Wilkerson, he's a left tackle right now. And Jason Peters, they brought in Jason Peters. They tried to get Jason Peters to take Elijah Wilkerson's spot. Elijah Wilkerson came from the Denver Broncos. He's a right tackle. He played right tackle his whole career. Yeah. And so they moved him to left tackle when Tevin Jenkins, the rookie, got hurt. And so they brought in Jason Peters. We think Jason Peters is going to start week 1.
See what you did? You trying to explain something that's really garbage, okay? All this tackle situation is garbage. That's what I'm trying to say. So I came to the offseason worried about the defense, the outside linebackers and the DBs. But I'm worried about offensive tackle is my big concern.
Offensive tackle. Because you said offensive line at first. I think the interior offensive line is
solid.
And they got depth.
The outside, you talking about the tackle.
So quick question. So y'all both are being Andy Dalton being the crash dummy. Right. So if he's really the crash dummy, how long is he gonna last before Fields got to play anyway?
Concussion. I ain't gonna lie. I would throw Nick Foles out there.
Oh! Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that. No, I'm not going that far. I'm not going that far.
If they 0-5 or something, and then Andy go out with a concussion 0-5, and they line, you know what? You're right. I'll put Fields in there, but I'll be a running team.
You gotta play Fields.
But they gotta be a running team. That's the bottom line. We got a bad O-line, and specifically bad tackles. You got to run the ball. Tackles supposed to be pass protectors. Run the ball up the middle.
Whose job is to make sure that type of stuff happens?
Man, your boy is not going to do it. Yeah. Your boy's not going to do it. He's going to keep on trying to pass. He's going to try to pass it deep. He's going to try to do 7-step drops. And the offensive tackles is a bunch of bums. And it's not going to work.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't call them bums. Jermaine Fafetti he started last year. He started for the Seahawks.
He lost his job to the Seahawks because he was off-start. He was false starting all the time.
He led the league 2 years in a row with false starts.
False starts and not doing a good job.
But he had a solid year with the Bears.
He was playing guard, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was moving him around.
Yeah, he did have a solid. He played both guard and right tackle because Bobby Maxey got hurt. Yeah. Then he started playing right tackle. Yeah. And we don't know when Tevin Jenkins is going to return. He might return after week 6. He might go on the puck list and come back after week 6.
That's a bad
We don't know. I mean, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. We can't say that, and you can't judge them after week 1 either. They're playing the Rams. They're playing the best defense in the NFL. They made Russell Wilson look bad. So if they look bad against the Rams week 1, I'm not going to judge.
You can't overreact.
Yeah, I can't overreact.
Okay, Coach. Besides the quarterback, we talked about the quarterback. We know we got some concern there, but what concerns you right now, Coach?
So I have a list of concerns, and number one, my concern. He talked about the defensive backfield. I'm okay with the safeties. I'm concerned about, as we lost Kyle Fuller, our number one corner, even though he had first-round grades last year, he held up. A lot of teams every week picked on Jalen Johnson, but now he's our number one corner. Yeah. And maybe he could hold his own. But other cornerback slot, we have is it Kendall Vildor?
Kendall Vildor.
Yeah, Kendall Vildor as who's battling out the spot for the veteran Desmond Trufant.
Yeah.
Neither one of those guys flashed to me. We know how the NFL is right now. You got to play against Detroit, who's going to air it out. You got to play against Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is all that, but you still got to play against Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen.
Two Pro Bowl wide receivers.
I'm very scared of our cornerback situation. That's the number one concern for me, is our cornerback situation just in our conference alone. Like I said, Jalen Johnson definitely, they're expecting him to take that next jump, and he may do, but I'm not sold on Desmond Trufant. And so my number two concern, I just talked about Kendall Vildor. He was one of our top special teams.
Yeah.
So special teams is a huge concern for me. The Bears was one of the best kickoff and punt coverage teams.
Yeah, they were.
And so we lost
Patterson,
who was a Pro Bowler.
Yep.
We lost Sherry McManus, and I know he was getting injured. Kendall Vildor will not be playing those roles, as we see this past week. The Buffalo Bills exposed us. So I think we will go to from one of the best kickoff and punt coverage teams to one of the worst, because we've lost some key players. And I know that's where your late round draft picks, and that's where your but remember, the Bears have been dependent so much on late round draft picks to play important minutes. That's taken away from special teams. So number one, I say our cornerback situation, I'm very concerned. Position that I watch a lot, special teams. And then, as Boone alluded to, I disagree with him of saying I think we probably has one of the strongest right tackle groups in the league, because that's all we have on our team is right tackles. Until last week, that was a huge concern that we constantly kept picking up, and I understand left tackles are very hard to find, but we kept picking up right tackle. Adi said it, Elijah Wilkinson, free agent pickup. Okay, right tackle, but what was he playing? Left tackle. And so that transition is not easy. This is not like going from the wide receiver to the X receiver. This is not, a pass catching. This is a hard, going from right tackle to left tackle is a huge jump. And so somebody on the Chicago Bears just think you can convert right tackles to left tackles, because anointing Tevin Jenkins, and I think that was a great draft pick before his back, anointing him as our starting left tackle without making any competition against another left tackle was a huge concern from day one for me before the injury. So once again, cornerback, special teams, offensive line, you spoke on all the deficiencies that's there. Bringing a 39-year-old off the street who's going to have a Hall of Fame career, but is that going to be like another Orlando Pace situation? You pick up a Hall of Famer for his name, but he was just on the couch a couple weeks ago, and could he still play?
Adi, what's your other concerns about the Bears besides the quarterback position?
Well, yeah, man. Me and Marcus thinking like, man, we lost Kyle Fuller, man. I was devastated when they cut Kyle Fuller, and like I said on the other show, man, they saved $9 million to cut Kyle Fuller, and they signed Andy Dalton for $10 million. You know what I'm saying? So it makes no sense to me. So, all right, Jalen Johnson, man, 2020 second round pick. He's our number one corner. He got off to a solid start last season, but down the stretch he did struggle against the Detroit Lions, and especially against the Vikings stud wide receiver Justin Jefferson. He was not being contained. Yeah, a lot of people struggle with it.
That boy's a beast.
I had him in fantasy. It was great for me.
He broke some rookie records.
He was a baby Randy Moss. He was like, come on,
that's a different level.
Randy Moss type stuff.
And we're gonna see him twice a year. And so that's Jalen Johnson's man. All right. And so I mean, and Jalen Johnson's still looking for his first career interception, all right? And so we got Desmond Trufant.
How many deflections did he have?
He had a lot of deflections. He broke up a lot of passes.
I thought it was like 20 or 30.
No, because he's missed the last 4 games of the season.
But 15 is still a lot.
Yeah, he had a shoulder injury.
And they picked on him too, and he held his own.
He was solid. I mean, I wish he would have finished stronger, but like you said, Justin Jefferson is a beast. But he did struggle against Detroit Lions. And Kendall Vildor, you mentioned him. He's a 2020 5th-round pick for the Bears. And even though he didn't get a lot of action last year behind Kyle Fuller, Jalen Johnson, and Buster Screen, it looks like he's going to start over Desmond Trufant. Yeah. He's going to get the start. And then you look at Duke Shelley. He was a 2019 6th-round pick for the Bears. He's going to start at nickelback, taking Buster Screen's spot. Buster Screen was cut from the Bears, and in the 6th round of the draft, the Bears drafted Thomas Graham Jr. from Oregon. He opted out last year. He played in the Senior Bowl. The coaches really liked him. We'll see if he's a hidden gem. But I'm gonna tell you this is the most inexperienced group of starting cornerbacks I've ever seen in Chicago, ever. And that is my biggest concern. If these cornerbacks are laying that ball, that's my number one concern.
What school did Vildor come out of?
Georgia Southern.
So he's that short guy. He's like that short.
He's 5'10".
Yeah.
He's 5'10".
Hey, I saw his highlights. Man, that dude was he was a scrappy beast. Like his college highlights click. I know that it just said it translate, but I liked him when we drafted him. He was short. He had a high vertical jump. He was getting interceptions. I can understand him getting the starting job over your boy.
Desmond Trufant.
Yeah, Desmond Trufant.
Yeah.
I like Vildor. I mean, so far.
Very unproven. Everybody's unproven. I mean, Jalen Johnson, he started last year, missed the last 4 games, and had a shoulder injury, but everybody's unproven. The only one that's proven is Desmond Trufant, but he missed 15 games in the last 2 years. Yep. So, cornerback position, because teams are getting rid of their ball in like 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? 2.5 seconds, 2 seconds. And so these corners go out to bump and run, get some deflection.
Who's going to be the strong safety?
Strong safety is Gibson.
Gibson is back.
Yeah, he's back.
He was actually good.
He had a really good game against New Orleans.
I didn't know we brought him back. Who's the other guy that we got the backup safety?
We got DeAndre Houston Carson. He's coming back.
Deion Bush.
We got Deion Bush.
Yeah. Bush made a couple of plays in the preseason game. I didn't even know Gibson was back.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, so I mean, all y'all brought him offensive line. I'm with you there. I'm worried about the whole defense. Look, I got to be real. Like, I know the defense is still the strength of the team, but since Vic Fangio left, that defense has not been the same. Like, they are being scored on a lot more often. They still find a way to hold teams to field goals. They still, but it's just they're not getting the pressure on the quarterback. The game planning.
They're getting old.
Yeah, they're getting old too. And the game plan at the same. So I'm a little nervous about the defense when y'all brought the corner, especially at the cornerback positions, no doubt. But my biggest concern is the coaching. I'm sorry, like I know Marcus hates when I do this, but I'm sorry because I have to ask. Any one of y'all can chime in. Besides galvanizing the troops and motivating the troops, what has Matt Nagy football acumen brought to the Chicago Bears?
I want to hear what you got to say about it.
He said besides.
Well, besides Marcus?
No, besides football acumen, motivating the troops.
Okay.
And I think we devalue that in professional sports because you are a leader of men. You are managing a lot of $1 million people. And so there's a lot of X and O guys who's great at X and O's and everything like that, but they can't manage those egos. Yeah. And so we devalue that. So when he said besides, then I really don't have a lot to say. But I think that's huge that he could manage those egos on the defense. They respect him and all of that. So with that being said, he has failed at the number one thing they brought him in to do. But at the same time, it's very invaluable of every time you shouldn't be on losing streaks 2 years, 6-game losing streaks 2 years in a row. Most teams would fold it. And I have a lot of respect for him I've seen a lot of teams go on 3 and 4 game losing streaks and they folded for the rest of the season. 2 years in a row, both his teams have stayed with it and they've came back and competed after long losing streaks. Most coaches lose their jobs after 3 and 4 when the losing streak.
I agree with you, Floyd, that is actually probably the most important job of a head coach is to rah-rah and get these guys to play hard. You're supposed to have offensive coordinators that do the X's and O's. And I think Nagy God
But
bless his heart.
he calling the plays. That's his offense now.
See, he's a little stubborn too.
He's not a little stubborn.
He believed in himself, so I thought it was a good thing. Like, you believe in yourself. You're not gonna let something to derail you from your vision. And that's what makes him a good leader of men, because he don't let things get into his way, because life happens. So that's good, but you gotta stop being an offensive coordinator. Something. You're right. He's a good rah-rah coach. He can get people to run through a wall. But he is trying to, and he came in saying he's an offensive coordinator, that he's gonna be a quarterback whisperer. He's gonna have an offensive game plan. I'm gonna make the offense score for the Bears, score some points, what we haven't did in like 100 years. So he gotta stop claiming that he can make us score and just play Chicago Bears football and have these Bears run through walls, run the ball, and play defense, and then get everybody psyched to do that. Yeah. You can make these guys, 12 guys on the field, 24 on defense, plus another, special teams. You can get them excited to run the football and play defense, and then stop right there. Because you're not going to create an offense here. He can't do an offensive game plan here with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I mean that's my biggest concern, because that's a big
concern.
Like so. And there's nothing wrong with being just a head coach and just being the overseer. Yeah. That don't mean you're a bad coach if you're the overseer. Yeah. So we're going to see. Let's not forget the guy that got rid of saved his job. Mitch saved his job. They had to bring Mitch back in, and Mitch won a few games, got in the playoffs. Because if Mitch don't win those games, I don't think he's here. Yeah. I don't think he's here. But we've been talking a lot of Bears. We've been talking about all the quarterback position and all the problems with the Bears. So, I'm going to start with you on this one. Give me something that you're actually excited about for the Bears this season.
The return of Eddie Goldman.
Oh, yeah.
He's finally back. Akeem Hicks and Eddie Goldman hasn't played more than 5 games in a season together since 2018. The Bears dominated in 2018. As we know, Eddie Goldman opted out of the 2020 season, but in the previous year, teams rarely had success against the Bears in the run game because Eddie Goldman was clogging up the middle. He was relentless in causing a lot of havoc in the backfield, and he kept offensive linemen off guys like Roquan Smith and Daniel Trevathan, as the Bears was the 4th best team in the NFL in rushing yards allowed per carry, okay? And so you got Bilal Nichols. He'll be starting alongside Eddie Goldman. He's a nice young defensive lineman. Of course, Akeem Hicks will be there. And the defensive line is deep. You got the Bears re-signed Mario Edwards Jr. They re-signed him. He's coming back. Also, the former Arizona Cardinal Angelo Blackson, he's coming over. And you got the big, huge 7th-round pick from BYU, Kyrus Tunga. He's been showing flashes in the preseason and in training camp. Absolutely. So I'm just looking for the Bears' defensive line, clog up the run game, and even put some pressure on the quarterback up the middle, make life easier for the edge rushers in our young leagues.
Absolutely. I'm definitely excited to have Eddie Goldman back. Remember, go to Spotify and check us out on Spotify, listen on Spotify, subscribe to Spotify. Coach, what excites you about the Bears this season?
Well, we ripped the quarterback and we ripped all of Matt Nagy, but I am very excited about it. I'm not going to just say the receivers. I'm excited about the pass catchers.
Ooh,
I'm excited about the pass catchers. We know what A-Rod 12, we know what Allen Robinson has done for the last couple years at the franchise tag. But there was a 5th-round pick last year that excited a lot of us, Darnell Mooney. There was another pick that said he had a great tight end university camp. Cole Kmet. We also picked up, and they're fighting for the 3rd receiver spot. Demir Byrd was very solid for the Patriots last year. And we have the burner, one of the fastest people to ever play in the NFL, Marquise Goodwin. So Demir Byrd and Marquise Goodwin will be fighting it out for the 3rd spot. Thinking Demir Byrd might win that battle. And late in the year, we discovered a pass catcher out the backfield by the name of David Montgomery. He was his touches went up. I'm very excited. The guy you guys hate, Matt Nagy, has already said he's going to give him 20 touches a game, not 20 carries.
That's what he said.
Not 20, but I think we think he carries. So I'm willing to bet we could see a lot more with him having the ball. Not saying he's a burner or anything, but just giving him the ball in space.
Yeah.
Looking for him to make some plays. We know over the years the Bears have been terrible with screens, but with the lack of line movement, I can see us improving our screen game, moving. We do one thing about our weak offensive line; they are pretty mobile. So I'm very excited. Now, who's going to be throwing them the ball? Andy Dalton. I think early on that could be a strength for him. Being learning that offense, knowing the different coverages and everything, having different hot routes and everything, with having a pass catcher. And I did not mention Jimmy Graham is still back. One of the best red zone targets to ever play in the NFL. So these guys, whoever, if it's Justin Fields or if it's Andy Dalton, having these weapons take the next level, and they have to take the next level, and I'm very excited about Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, all these guys going to a different level to help who's ever at quarterback.
Yeah, and I do want to mention also the guy Rodney Adams. He made some big plays.
The rookie?
The guy, he came out of nowhere. I think he's a rookie.
The guy that caught the ball off the helmet in the game against the Bills.
He was in commercials. He was in commercials too. Last year, I think, or 2 years ago, he took like a year off. His mom passed away. He took a year from the NFL. He did State Farm commercials. He did some cameos on the TV show.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he had a story to him. Yeah, he got a hell of a story to him.
Don't forget about Daz Newsome too, from North Carolina.
Yes.
He's going to apparently return punts because Tariq Cohen is hurt.
Yes.
So Daz Newsome is supposed to be back there returning punts. He's very fast, very electric, and looks like Riley Ridley and Javon Williams look like they might be pushed out the door.
The Bears love Javon Williams. After everything that happened
Last year, he still got another shot to make the team.
And I just never understood, and Javon Williams have had plenty of opportunities, and he stepped up early, but then he made some knucklehead plays. I just always wondered why Riley Ridley couldn't get on the field.
Yeah.
I just never understood. They always talked about how talented he was, but it didn't make sense. Oh, we're excited about Riley Ridley, but he wasn't good enough to get on the field.
Yeah.
So I was kind of confused about that. I'm glad Goodwin and Bird has overstepped them, and they're so we're out. That speed. We have some speed. The Bears have some speed.
Yeah, I'm with you right there, Coach. The skills position is I'm actually excited about the skills position. The running back, receivers, tight end. I think we have a nice group right there. Boom. What excites you about the Bears? What gets you going about the Bears right now?
Okay, so I'm just gonna say what excites me, then I gotta go to what really excites me about the Bears. So the first thing I'm gonna say is, and like Marcus, Floyd, you hit on some of them. Darnell Mooney and David Montgomery, building blocks for the future. I feel like these are some offensive talented players that we can build on, and you can just pigeonhole them for the future, along with Justin Fields. So now you got something working with. In our middle offensive line, our center and two guards, things like that. So you got something we can build on. And I'm talking about building because for me, this year is not going to be the year. The Bears defense is getting too old. 2018,
it's over with.
That's not coming back.
2018 go.
It's over with. It's not coming back.
It's over with. It's over with.
And so you need the Bears defense to be the 2018 monsters to make this year relevant, and it's not going to happen. So we're going to have to replenish that defense. And I know we have to be salary cap high, salary cap to the max, so it's going to be some finagling. It's going to be something strange to get that defense back. So what excites me about this year is the end of the year. It's going to be it's going to be a rough year. I'm telling you, the Bears defense is going to give up yards and points. They owe, we got some pieces. We got the middle linebacker, Roquan Smith. We got Jalen Johnson. Maybe Eddie Jackson can do something. Hicks is on his way out. You got Goldman, who can probably do something. Then what's the other boy?
Bilal Nichols.
You still got Hicks. You still got Hicks in there.
Hicks is injury prone. Mack is
Hicks is like the oldest starting Bear.
Hicks is real injury
He's the
prone.
oldest.
He cold. He probably the best Bear.
The player still got Mac number 23 as the 23rd best player in the league right
Like
now.
I said, he got his stats. He had 9 sacks last year, but he getting quiet. Those some quiet 9 sacks.
But it's an analytic. They look at his analytic numbers, like the times he forced pressure, like how the percentage of plays he actually get pressure, force the quarterback to throw.
2 years in a row, he was quiet to me. Now, like I said, 2018, 12 and a half big sacks, 12 and a half big plays. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, but for me, what I'm excited about is just getting this over with, getting the season over with. I got to do fantasy football. I got to do pick'em leagues and stuff so I can watch NFL. It's going to be sad. I'm a Bears fan, man. It's going to be a rough.
You that down on the Bears?
I'm down, man. Because like I said, you remind me, like the defense is going to get, they're going to get punched in the mouth. And then the offense is going to be the Bears' offense. So what am I looking at? I used to watch the defense and be excited and like go get a drink or go something to eat during the offensive plays. But now I don't know where to get up off my seat. And you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be. So I'm looking for to get this over with and then go into next year with Justin Fields and a good old line because I think the line gonna get sorted out by the end of this year and the offense should be stepping up. Next year, the offense gonna step up while the defense take a step back. But it's an offensive league, so like I said, right now I want to get this out the way, man. It's gonna be sad.
Listen, I'm excited about the skills players. I'm with Coach right there about the skill players, but I'm also with you. That's about the only thing I'm excited about. Like that, I can say I'm truly excited about is the Bears skills player. Everything else is up in the air. So I don't know. So let's coach. What would the Bears' record be, and will they make the playoffs?
Whew, the record after he said that. So
hey, he just killed everybody's spirit.
You guys,
He just killed all
I
our
just
spirit.
want to highlight a portion of the Bears' schedule, and then you guys still may say I'm crazy after I read this. Week 6, they play against Green Bay. Week 7, they play against the Bucks. Week 8, they play against the 49ers. Week 9, they play against the Steelers. Week 10 is a bye. And then 11, they play against the Baltimore.
Let me say one thing. I'm not scared of the Bucks. I'm not scared of the Steelers like that if Ben can re-injure himself. And of course, Green Bay gonna give it to us.
You're not scared of the Super Bowl champs, the most talented team in the NFL?
Teams don't really go back to back like that. They got their ring. They're gonna be all highfalutin.
We beat the Bucks last year. Brady go over
beat the Bucks last year.
He go over
And it's in Tampa Bay. When's the last time we won in Tampa Bay?
I don't think they're gonna have the same focus. After winning, they're gonna be relaxed. They're gonna be lollygagging. They might not have to make.
You know who their quarterback is? When have you ever seen their quarterback relax?
Brady can't do it. Let me tell you what happened with Brady. Brady became the general manager. Okay, Brady's skills.
He threw 40 touchdowns too. Don't forget.
He had 3 great receivers and 2 tight ends.
He's still there.
And they all took less money and came back.
Yeah, they all came
They still left. They took less money. The defense all took less money and came back.
Yeah.
All right, we gonna see if it happen again. Okay, so he just had a super monster team around him.
Oh, he did.
And so if those monsters done won they ring, they relaxing, they getting fat off the land. I don't see Tampa Bay doing that. Mark me if I'm wrong. Okay,
Well, we get to Boone's record prediction. So,
Yeah.
Let them make it.
So that's a 6-week stretch where I think if they go 1-5. 1 and 4. 1 and 4, they're going great. So with that being said, I think the Chicago Bears, with the talent, they will be a little more talented on offense. The defense will take a step back, I think, especially with the corners. I think they're going to be in every game. The Bears still is a middle of the pack team in the NFL. I have them on as 8-9. 8-9, missing the playoffs. Okay. Missing the playoffs, the 3rd best team.
8 wins, 3 years in a way.
Yeah.
3 years in a row, 8 wins.
Matt Nagy gets his first losing season.
Yes. All right, Bo. Now go ahead. Give it to us now, Bo. What's the Bears' record going to be? You done already said that you're waiting for the end of the season.
Yeah. So you know what? I agree with Floyd. Like they're gonna be in games. They got talent. They got a little something here and there. But with the schedule they have, and you know, with the defense taking a step back, and then the offensive tackles not being nothing that I can look on, and then with Matt Nagy calling the plays. Now I want to say this. The Bears should know what they is. They should run the ball on first and second down, run that whole 40-second clock, and then pass the ball on third down and shorten it and then speed the game up. Speed the game up. Not let the other team get the ball a lot. You know, keep the defense on the bench to get their breath. They old. But he's going to throw the ball on first, incompletion. Throw the ball on second, incompletion. Throw the ball on third, incompletion. Penalty. So, false start.
Yeah.
False start. Our tackle will be false start. He's going to be going backwards.
Then he's going to call a reverse play.
See, the problem
I'm sorry. That was wrong.
No, that's right. Now, the problem with the Bears is if Matt Nagy can look at his roster and see who they is, and know he got to run the ball, he got to waste the clock on and then wait, you know what I'm saying, the whole 40 seconds before he say hike. Then maybe the Bears can steal some games, but he's not going to do it. He's going to throw the ball with Andy Dalton. He's going to drop back 7 yards. Gonna have everybody run flies down the field, gonna throw the ball deep, and he's gonna make it harder for this average. Not like the worst roster, we're gonna make it harder for this average roster to win. He's gonna make it harder for us. So I guess going 7-10.
7-10. I'm not mad at that. That's better than I thought you was gonna say.
Yeah.
I thought you was gonna say like 4.
5-12.
I want to say
4 and 13.
I'm teetering between 6 and 11, 7 and 10.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go 7 and 10.
Okay.
Adi, what are the Bears gonna do this year? Are they gonna make the playoffs? They don't have to make the playoffs. Can you give us some hope here?
Okay, well, after the Drama King pretended like he wasn't going to play this season, he's back. You know what I'm talking about. So Green Bay is going to win the NFC North.
No question about it. No question.
But still, that 7th wild card spot is up for grabs for me. Okay. Now I do have 3 teams out of the best division in the NFL, the NFC West. I have 3 teams.
The NFC West or the AFC West?
Not the AFC West. No.
With the Chargers,
Raiders and Chargers and Broncos.
I don't know. I think the Chargers are going to be really good this year. I ain't gonna lie. I think the Chargers going to.
NFC West is better.
NFC West is
It's not better than NFC West, right?
NFC West. With Cardinals and Rams, and 49ers.
49ers defense is getting hurt though in the preseason.
I'm sorry, Adi. We got it.
My point was,
there's a lot of good divisions here.
I'm saying 3 teams making out the NFC West. Okay,
see that.
and so I'm saying that it's a wide open race for that 7th seed in the NFC. So now I got the Bears sweeping the Detroit Lions this year. I have them splitting with Minnesota, and of course, getting swept by Green Bay as usual. Okay. Now, Marcus already brought it up. Now, the first 5 games of the season, it is super important that the Bears have a winning record. Because in games 6 through 10, well, like Marcus just said, we'll be lucky if we win a game. I'll be happy we win 1 game during that 6 through 10 stretch. Now, I don't have the Bears beating Seattle. In Seattle, I don't have the Bears beating the Rams. I don't have them beating the Browns. They play the Cardinals. Nope, I don't get them beating the Cardinals. I get the Bears going 7-10 this year. I don't have them making the playoffs, and I'm starting to get sick and tired of Ryan Pace trading 1,000 draft picks to trade up every goddamn year. And Matt Nagy, we went 12-4 in 2018 because Vic Fangio's defense was killing. That's why we was 12-4. I'm kind of getting tired of both of them guys. And if the Bears play like I think they will, if they play like you think they will, then I'm kind of tired of them. I kind of want them to go.
Yeah. So you got them 7-10, 7-10, 8-9, right? I'm with y'all, 7-10. I wanted to say 6-11.
I wanted to say 6-11 too.
But it all comes from an aging defense, and the play call. I just don't Matt Nagy. I don't trust him calling the plays. And I know Andy Dalton's gonna be in there. If it was me personally, Andy Dalton is a solid quarterback. I'm going with Justin Fields against the Rams. Game one, let's go. That's just me. Now I know that's not conventional wisdom, but I'm looking at it. I think right now, today, right now, Justin Fields gives the Bears the best chance to win football
If
games.
the defense was better and we had a chance to make the playoffs, I would go with Justin Fields. But right now, you might as well just...
Actually, they do have a chance to make the playoffs. I mean, that 7 seed, like New Orleans Saints or the Vikings, I see the Vikings or Saints getting that 7 seed. Maybe the Bears, like the Bears they could get that 7 seed. I mean, but I'm not predicting they're gonna get it. But if they do, like exceed expectations somehow, if the defense actually, the front seven is pretty solid. Yeah. That's a really good front seven, and the DBs are very unknown, very inexperienced. We don't know if they're good or not. They might be good. So I mean,
it's a lot of
unknowns there, but they might be good. So I wouldn't say the playoffs is out the window just before the season.
That's a good thing though. That's some youth on the team. Like I said, the defense have an Asian problem, so that DB class is young.
Hopefully they can
effective. That can go a long way.
So I just, to me, the person that gives them the best chance to win games is Justin Fields. I know Justin Fields will have growing pains. He will make mistakes like you spoke on earlier when he got blitzed and hit and the helmet came off. He didn't read the blitz. He didn't read, he's supposed to get rid of that to the hot receiver. He didn't read it. He's going to have players like that. He is a rookie. But I think because of his athletic ability and him being able to run the ball, and also because of him being able to run the ball, it makes him a play action threat with Montgomery so much better. So I just feel like he gives him the best chance to win. Right today. That's just my opinion. But if Andy Dalton comes in and they go 0-3, 0-4, season's over. Season's over. Because Marcus, that damn schedule from 6 to 10, holy crap. 10, that's
coming off the bye. I'm saying the Ravens. I'm not saying the Ravens. They have blew people out. People don't think they score. They score.
They score.
At week 11, coming off the bye, the Ravens.
The Ravens are a playoff team.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because what got me down was those very special teams, like you said. Just looking at that Buffalo Bills game, just the way that the Bills special teams dominated ours, it means that you have no depth. And you need depth to be a good team. It's all about having just stacks of players that supposed to be stars on a bad team that's on your bench.
Yeah.
So that Bills preseason game, granted, but it was just the way the special teams just kicked our butt, made me say we don't got the depth to be a playoff team.
I mean, we got kicked every way in that game. It was special teams, offense, defense. Mitch Trubisky came back. I mean, if you fall off that preseason game, we're going to be 0-17.
For one, the game didn't count. For two, Roquan Smith didn't play. Daniel Spade didn't play. Eddie Goldman didn't play.
Yeah.
Now, my last comment is going to be a positive comment, okay? So we do have James Daniels coming back from the injury. He's coming there at guard. You got our best offensive lineman, Cody Whitehair, is at guard. You got Sam Musford, who played very good at center. Yep. He saw our center position. Now, we do have Jason Peters at left tackle. Maybe he still got some left in the tank. He's a Hall of Famer. Maybe he can give us one good season. And Tevin Jenkins, maybe he will come back after week 6 or something, after the pup list. And he probably might go on the pup list.
He might come back like week 10, man.
He can come, think about it. Jacob Pierce is playing decent, and then Tevin Jenkins come back healthy and play right tackle. Now, even before he comes back, we got Jermaine Fetty playing there. We got Elijah Wiggleson. So if the offensive line is solid, it's not as bad as we think, and we can run the ball. David Montgomery can make a Pro Bowl. If we get 1,200 yards, get double digits touchdowns, then I'm not hopeless on this season. It can be a good season, but I'm not going to predict.
But Matt Nagy not going to run the ball. So it's like I said, I agree with you. I say, if Matt Nagy run the ball and the defense can be solid, then there's some things going on, but Matt Nagy is going to hamper a team that's not perfect.
Yeah.
He's going to make it worse. They are like average. Barely making the playoffs with the last playoff roster, with the last wild card, and then Matt Nagy's going to take that out of their hands. Well, because they're not perfect, and he's going to make them worse.
Well, we shall see. We shall see. None of us right now. Come back to the tape. We don't have the Bears making the playoffs. You've been watching Spectator Sport. Remember, go on Spotify, subscribe to Spectator Sporting. Check us out on iTunes as well. Check us out on YouTube, Spectator Sporting page. Hit that bell. I'm Zach Roach, along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wally. I want to thank Coach Floyd. I want to thank Boone for helping us out. Talk about this Bears preview. In the meantime, in between time, we out. Peace.